You know the story of how my family giving away my room turned into like the most satisfying moment of my entire career? Yeah, that all starts with a scream. So my office door just flies open, right? And there he is, Logan Price, my sister's boyfriend. He's all out of breath, eyes wide. He barges in, and then his eyes land on the nameplate on my desk, and you could just see his face completely contort, like he was looking at a ghost for real.
It's wild how things can change, isn't it? I mean, just 8 hours ago, I was basically the spare daughter, the one whose entire life gets packed into boxes and dumped in a leaky basement. But right now, I was the one holding his entire professional future in my hands. He had absolutely no clue who he was dealing with. And honestly, if he wanted to scream, well, he was definitely in the right place for it. Okay, so to really get how we ended up in that crazy moment in my office, we gotta rewind a bit. So picture this. I get home from a super long shift, totally wiped, just wanting to crash before some late meetings I had. But when I open my bedroom door, it's just empty. My entire room, the one I'd had for 22 years, was gone. All my stuff was just crammed into these plastic bins out in the hallway. And of course, my parents and my sister Brianna, they had this whole laundry list of excuses ready. They said they were making changes to help everyone out. That Logan, he needed a stable place. They even had the nerve to say they thought I'd be mature about it. And the kicker, you're always at work anyway. Like that was supposed to make it okay? But let's be real. The truth was, they just decided I didn't count. And you know what? I didn't even fight them on it. No yelling, no screaming. I just looked at all three of them, said okay, and walked out. Headed straight for the one place they had no idea existed, my own little apartment downtown. See, I always kind of knew I needed an escape hatch, and I'm so glad I had one. So I get to my place, and I can finally, take a real breath. I open up my work laptop just to catch up, and bam, there it is, an email. Final interview for a job in my department. And the candidate's name? Logan Price. I mean, what are the odds? Of all the places in this entire city, he applied to mine. He was about to walk straight into my world, and he was completely clueless. So there I am, waiting, and in he walks. I mean, he's practically strutting, telling the security guard, loudly by the way, that his girlfriend knows someone important, so he's pretty much a shoo-in. And then he walks into my office and sees me, sitting behind the director's desk. Oh, the look on his face was everything. You could literally see his brain just short-circuit. That's when the screaming started. I just looked at him real calm and said, "Have a seat." Yeah, this was my turf now. I decided to keep it 100% professional, I picked up his resume, didn't miss a beat, and just launched into the first question. But man, his answers, they were a train wreck from the get-go. You could just see the panic setting in as it dawned on him that, this wasn't the easy family hookup he was counting on. No, seriously, that was his real answer. He was so unprepared, it was almost funny. Totally unfocused. It was crystal clear he thought he was just going to waltz in here, drop my sister's name, and walk out with a job. What he didn't know is that in my department, we don't do favors, we do qualifications. So I just kept going down the list of questions, and trust me, it did not get better. It got so much worse. Every answer was weaker than the one before it. At one point, he tried to say his old boss didn't respect his talent. Oh, really? So, of course, I had to ask him about that. Turns out his boss yelled at him for being late by a couple of hours. Not a couple of minutes, hours. And when I asked him how often that happened, he kind of mumbled, sometimes. So yeah, at the end of it, I just closed his file, looked him straight in the eye, and very calmly told him he just didn't meet the basic requirements for the role. And he just snapped, jumped right out of his chair, totally furious, saying I was doing this just to punish him. I just told him, look, my job is to protect this company, not to give out jobs just because my family wants me to. As he stormed out, he yelled that they all said I'd finally be useful. And that one hit. Because right there, that's what they really thought of me. The second that door slammed shut behind him, wow. It was like years of being looked down on, of being underestimated, just evaporated. It was this amazing, powerful feeling. But yeah, that feeling didn't last long because right on schedule, my phone just lit up like a Christmas tree. The chaos was officially beginning. I mean, it was a total digital assault. Non-stop calls,
endless texts from my mom, my dad, my sister. I was humiliating Logan. I was being so difficult. I was childish. Blah, blah, blah. I didn't pick up once. I just watched my phone buzz and let them all go to voicemail.
And then I get this text from Brianna that actually made me laugh, like a real out loud laugh. You made Logan cry. Are you kidding me? The same guy who was screaming in my office is now crying because he didn't get a job handed to him on a silver platter. So I just typed back 3 little words. I moved out. And then silence. Phone off.
And then, right in the middle of all this family drama, a different text pops up. It was from Mrs. Turner, this wonderful woman who was my mentor back when I volunteered at a community tutoring center. She was hiring a paid coordinator, and she wanted to know if I wanted the job. Just like that. The offer was just mine.
The timing was just perfect. Here my family was trying to shove me into a basement, literally trying to make my world smaller. But instead, my world was actually getting bigger. They were so caught up in their own mess, they couldn't see I was already walking into a whole new chapter, a much better one.
Eventually, I did answer a video call from my mom. And it was the same old script, You're embarrassing us, you hurt your sister, you need to come home and say you're sorry. And for the first time, maybe ever, I just said no. When she threw "you're abandoning your family" at me, I just calmly said, "You packed up my entire life and didn't even tell me. Remember the basement?" And then I ended the call.
So, of course, later that day, she just shows up at my apartment, unannounced, demanding to know what happened to her quiet, sweet little girl who never made a fuss. And I just told her the truth. I said, that person, that was your version of me. That wasn't really me. The real me? Well, she was busy building a life that my mom knew absolutely nothing about.
After that, I got 2 weeks of the most beautiful, peaceful silence you can imagine. And then a text from my dad. Come to the house. So I went. And when I got there, they took me to my old room. They had put it all back together. Perfectly. Every single thing was exactly where it used to be. It was like a little museum of my childhood. It was, their big peace offering.
And they actually apologized. They said they were wrong, that they messed up, and that they wanted me to come back. And I just looked at them and then at the room, and I smiled. A real smile. I told them, I'm not moving back. I've outgrown this. But I also told them I forgave them. Because I wasn't angry anymore, I was just free. You see, my family tried to write a chapter of my life for me, the one where I'm the quiet girl who ends up in the basement. But in that boardroom, I took the pen right out of their hands. And it just goes to show you, right? What happens when you stop letting other people decide your value or your space or your story. You don't just get to write a new chapter. You get to write a whole new book.